I'm in. Would you look at that? It's Tuesday, and it happens to be Happy St. Patrick's Day. Someone just reminded me of that. I totally forgot. My name is Adam. This is Comic Industry Insiders Live, a weekly podcast where we talk about the stuff that's happening in the comics industry, even when it's us. So let's bring my partner in crime to the stage. Let's talk. But we're into some pre-show banter, my friends. How are you?
How green my background is.
Green.
That may be a little obnoxious. Let's just lighten her up just a little bit, maybe.
How green is my background?
Yours is always green. Like that's the funny part. You have green as your primary color.
Yes.
Of course, today I decided to wear the opposite of green, which is red on the color spectrum, for those of you at home who are color spectrum fans.
The color spectrum nerds.
How you doing, buddy? You and I had an interesting conversation earlier today.
Oh, did we? Yeah. Well, basically,
we're exactly in the exact same headspace right now.
You know who Brene Brown is? Have you ever heard of Brene Brown?
No, I don't.
She's this woman who talks about like relationships, and she's like one of those executive coaches. And if you have a podcast that has more than 10,000 people, eventually she comes on it. Anyway, right. She talks about how she and her husband have this shorthand where she'll get home and say, dude, it's been a tough day. I'm at 40%. And he goes, oh yeah, you know what? I'm at like 30. And they're like, well, I guess we're ordering out. Right. Because between us, we don't make 100%. You and I basically had that conversation. Like we're not in 100% this week, but we're here. We're making it happen. It's been a crazy couple weeks. You just went on mute. Your audio went out. And so I'm used that to bring Joe to the stage. Hey, buddy.
I think my audio is working. Hello. Welcome. Wearing green today.
Look at you already prepared. I had to go put on a sweater. So
yeah, I mean.
This, by the way, was my Comics Pro meditation sweater. That's what this was.
A classic. Yes. Set off 1,000 presentations. That was cool, man. Yeah, people weren't there, but yeah, Adam led us in a meditation on day one, and I think every day after that, someone led us in a meditation. So
that was really a nice little theme that came out of that wackiness.
Test.
Oh, there he is. Awesome.
Oh, I'm back. Okay. Well,
you're back.
Pre-show banter. Hey, let's not screw around. Let's bring in who else do we have? We got Gabe. Let's bring in Gabe. What's up, Gabe?
What a trendsetter you are, honestly, with the meditation and the comics magazine and all of those.
Gosh.
You really are at the forefront of everything you do, Adam. I gotta hand it to you. Wow. I'm in awe of your presence regularly. I figured with all of this talk about not equaling 100%, I thought, man, I got to hype this guy up today.
We need you. We might keep you on the whole show because, frankly, we need as much. Oh, dude.
Marketer of the year. That's right. Going for two in 2026, my friends.
We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I am not feeling Marketer of the Year vibes. Let me tell you that. Let's go. But it's all right. We're gonna make it happen. Blake, are you just too busy to come on? You want to come on, buddy? We're kind of light. Give me a heads up. There he is.
Just posting comments. I got to show off my new hat. Everybody see my hat? It's a really cool hat, and I'm really excited about it.
How do we make you like the big one? Is that the big one? No, that didn't do it. Oh,
here, hold on. Well, now you're
not allowed. I'm not allowed.
The Marketer of the Year is the big one now. Hold on.
I'm
not the tech guy of the year. Gotta say.
Look at my hat. It's amazing. Oh my god, best $46 I've ever spent.
$46.
It's 40. Yeah,
$5 shake. What's in that?
That's like Blake. That's like if you're talking about bar S, that's 46 times 6 is 242 to $282. No, 282 hot dogs. What
is happening right now?
That's true. It's also 64 Canadian dollars. That's an expensive hat, Blake.
Fitted new era hats are expensive. If you buy a brand new one like NFL or MLB, they're $48-$50 now. So that's crazy.
Well, that's true. And if you want to be on Team Hot Dog, you got to show it.
Yeah, if you want to love hot dogs, I don't know. I like the hats. They work for my head, and I'm bald, So just
as Gabe found out at Comics Pro, I bought this hat from a general store for I think less than $20.
It was the most Joe Keating moment I've ever had. I haven't had a lot of them, but it was very much like, yes, you absolutely did buy your hat at the general store.
I have
comics. How are we feeling, folks?
I have a hat that I just came home with, and I was wearing it. And Gabby's like, "What the hell are you wearing?" Because it's a Castrol, the motor oil brand.
I love it.
She's like, "What are you wearing?" I'm like, It was just there was a box of them that was sitting outside of this shop. They were just giving them away, and it fits, and it's real comfortable.
That's it.
That's all I really want in life.
Comfortable hat.
If you keep working at that bar, you should start getting like beer reps and stuff. Bring hats and stuff all the time. Like I used to get tons of free stuff. I miss it.
Thank you for bringing that up, Blake. Bar's closed. Oh, so yeah, my whole life is just falling down around me this week.
What happened?
It was an art collective run by. It was never really run as a proper business. It's a really long story, but essentially for a while they were very successful as a venue. The landlords did not like how that success made them rowdy. Mm-hmm. And so the Rekka hat. I've got a Rekka hat. Oh, I never gotten a Rekka hat, come to think of it. Anyway, so they just didn't like how rowdy it was. And so they said, all right, you got to make it a little more, you can still have shows and shit, but you can't do it as rowdy as it has been. And so I didn't come in until after that era. So when I came in, it was still this glorious place full of antiques and art and sculpture. And I loved it. I just felt it immediately at home and said, whatever I can do to help. And they basically said, well, you need bartenders. I'm like, well, I've never bartended before, but I'll volunteer one night a week just for tips. And so I did. And I've been doing that for like 3 months. Found out yesterday, the landlord was giving them till the end of the month to get out. So we were, planning on a big event at the end of the month. And yesterday they came in and we're trying to change the locks.
Oh no!
A big chunk of my yesterday was helping move stuff from that spot to storage, and I'll probably be doing that tonight as well. So yeah, it seems my career as an untrained bartender is now over.
But your career as a magazine magnet has just taken off.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. Why am I
what
sad?
A week.
What are you going to fall back on?
One door opens, another door closes.
Magnets. How do they work?
Ain't that was the truth?
That was just
the magnet. When I mispronounced that anyway.
You needed less things.
Yeah. So
I
anyway,
just like wordplay. I don't know what to tell you, Joe.
And I will tell you though, I now have this really cool book press, antique book press. I have no idea how old it is. It feels like it's probably 200 years old, and almost 100 pounds. And this giant robot sculpture came out of that space yesterday. Yeah. I'm sad, y'all. I'm trying to be real happy because we have big news to share today. But man, I'm just real struggling. Not gonna lie, this is one of those days. I probably would have called in a personal day if we didn't have this show to do. Here we are.
I may pop back in later when you talk about that news because I have a funny side story with Meg. Because I kind of thought this might happen, and I was like, yo, what if on the show next week this happens? And Megan was like, I don't think it will because of this. And I was like, that makes sense. And then anyway, so isn't being vague fun, folks? You'll find out later. Stay tuned in. Share, like, and subscribe.
If you're in for the next hour, as you should be, we're going to be talking about a lot. We're going to bring up a lot of this happened in the comics shops. I promise to not be a morose bastard the whole time. But you guys should feel free to stick around this week if you don't mind. I'd love to pull you back in anytime you have something to say. So let's definitely let's make this a group effort because we don't really have any extra special guests this week. We're really just talking about some of the news and talking about our news and talking about C2E2 that's coming up. So, Man, we got a lot going on, man. No wonder I'm tired.
It's coming up so fast.
Dude,
it's like next week. I was like, what?
If you would like some juicy tidbits about C2E2, I don't know that there's anybody in the world that knows that show more intimately than yours truly.
That's true. That's true. We do have our resident expert on C2E2 and where all the bodies are buried. I am certain.
I mean, there's about 40 feet of concrete laid on the floor there, and I would imagine at least one or two construction workers or Jimmy Hoffa fell in at one point or another.
I have no doubt.
That Jimmy Hoffa reference was for all the Gen Z kids watching.
Yeah, they're going to really get that one.
Right?
Jimmy Hoffa. That's right. And they're all, I wrote this piece on LinkedIn this week just about how Gen Z, it's that Dogman generation. I really just started doing the math and the history on it and how it goes back to the moment where Bone went from being self-published to becoming Scholastic Graphics. That is the moment that shifted where our market is today. It's fascinating.
I thought you were setting that up to say it goes all the way back to when Jimmy Hoffa died. I thought that's what
No,
that's what I was talking about that the other day about like the docks and shipping and distribution and how the mob used to have a hand in it. I was kind of with you, Gabe. I was like, where are we going with this?
Used to.
Very good.
Just kidding, everyone.
Yeah. Let's get, you know what? I think we're down to less than a minute. So let's go ahead and like this because we are hitting exactly a tight 60 this week. If you are watching, please feel free to stick around.
You know what? I'm going to put the timer on. We are going to do a tight 60.
Let's go, baby.
All right, here we go.
Top of the morning to you. That's about as close as you're going to get for me on this week. St. Patrick's Day, Tuesday. It's Comic Industry Insiders Live, and we are talking about all of the big news that's happened in comics this week, even the ones that involve us, the people that make Comics the Magazine and make a lot of other stuff. I would like to go ahead and put that back up because I want to bring it up. Put up the screen. This is what we're doing this week. A tight 60, my friends. We are going to talk for 60 minutes. Why? Because Gabe booked us a meeting right after this broadcast, and so that's why I got to be ready to go into that meeting. So
dang it, Gabe! Stop doing your job so good.
Thank you, Gabe.
You're very welcome. It's a very important meeting, and we like important meetings around here. If you want to take an important meeting with us here at Comics the Magazine, go ahead and shoot me an email this week. It's gabe@comicsthemagazine.com. This is the last week to get involved in what Screen Rant reported last week about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cover that was found in Kevin Eastman's garage. And Rico Renzi turned into an even more spectacular work of art for our issue number 3. If you want to be part of that, you have until the end of this week to get involved. So Gabe at comicsthemagazine.com, do your thing. Do it right now. Right now.
I'm gonna bring Gabe in for our ad reads from now on. That was awesome.
Right.
All right. We're keeping this tight 60, baby. Let's go. I'm gonna be bringing these guys back in and out. We're gonna have a group effort this week. Oh no, it's just Gabe's left. Never mind. Oh no, wait, no, everybody else is still there. Joe and Blake. All right, we might bring you in. Megan, if you're anywhere near a camera, jump on. Let's go. I want to get y'all in. Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm looking now. I'm reading what Blake says. We got a 5-minute 44-second video, so that we got.
Okay, I got that. I'll just add that into my numbers.
Show me a deck. What are we talking about?
Well, this week, Adam, of course, it is our See You at C2E2 episode because it turns out that this team's going to C2E2. That's right. Even the Canadian is crossing the border to go to C2E2.
My goodness. Even the Canadian.
Change.
I love that. I'm so glad you're making that happen. This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
We've got
the FOMO I had last week was pretty severe.
Do what?
FOMO I had last week.
Oh, yeah, I understand. And Dirk Manning's in the chat. He's going to be there as well. So
awesome.
Hey, Dirk, I was just I don't know if you heard me at the pre-show banter. I was talking about being at our favorite local haunt, and I met a guy who is a sculptor, and I showed him the magazine. He goes, "Oh, hey, do you know Dirk?" Sure do. There you go. It was good. Yeah, we will not play in Canada. There we go. All right, cool. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah, we got some headlines.
This week, yeah, we got some headlines. We're keeping them tight. There's only 4 headlines that we're going to talk about, but I think they're all good headlines. And then we're going to talk about See You at C2E2, and we'll bring in some special guests who will also be there and go through our Prana bestseller list. And
I think that Prana bestseller list.
And 20-second final cut.
We got a 5 minute 4 seconds.
5 minutes 4 seconds.
Let's don't undersell it. Oh no, undercut it. We do have a big reveal to happen in that bestseller list that surprised the hell out of me this morning. I really was shocked. I was not expecting to see it on there. So yeah. All right. You know what? Let's bring him out back for another ad read. Hey, Gabe.
Hi,
Gabe. Hi. What is a classified ad anyway, and why would I be at all interested in it?
You know, when you get right down to it, I think your explanation of what a classified ad is in 2026 is the best explanation of a classified ad I've ever heard, and certainly the most appropriate this day and age.
Yeah.
Classified ads are what social media is. This is what people used to do to tell everybody, hey, I've got something you want, whether that's a good, a service, a need for a service to be done, or you saw somebody at your local comic shop reading that X-Men omnibus, and you went, you know what? That's the kind of person I want in my life. I need to figure out who that was. And I didn't have the guts, like most of us don't, to walk up to them in person. Drop a classified ad. And there's not a more cost-effective, bang for your buck way to advertise in any form of media than a classified ad, especially our classified ads. $1 a word? Are you flipping kidding me? $1 a word. No,
not kidding.
We have to make it worth the amount of money that PayPal charges us to send a PayPal invoice. So it's got to be a minimum of $20. You got to spend $20 on this thing. So make it worth your while. Spend the $20 and use 20 words or better. And
I like it.
If you want to throw a QR code in or an image, it's a $20 upcharge. But then on top of everything else, you have the most talented designer on the face of the planet, Rico Renzi, designing your ad for you. Do you know how much this man charges an hour for his work?
Pop that back up, Blake. Show what Brian's got up there. Show those classifieds that Rico did. Are we doing it? Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that.
Come on.
No.
MatthewWallison.bigcartel.com. You know how cool it is that Rico decided to use that font on your classified ad? Come on. Awesome stuff, folks. Classifieds at comicsthemagazine.com, or, as with everything else, Gabe at comicsthemagazine.com. Again, you have till the end of the week, and we'll get you in issue number 3, which something tells me we'll have a sort of giant return to form in terms of circulation after issue 2 and our little snafu. But
we'll see.
It's going to be a wonderful thing with that cover and all of the things that are converging currently. You're going to get that classified in front of a lot of people. Want to sell your collection? It's not such a bad idea.
Right. Excellent. I'm just going to keep popping Gabe out of here at will. I'm loving this. This control is great. Yeah, I agree. I agree. What was the next slide?
I got to tell you, before we go on, I just want to say that my ad, and it's like not a huge ad, right? Like it was I think I have a half-page ad for comic previews. Yeah. And right now, this is the only way that people are going to find out about it. And all last weekend, I kept on texting you guys, oh my God, another like 20. I think we added 60 subscribers to our list. So that means 60 people went to that page and filled out the form. So the number of actual traffic, and I should look at it because I know we had a big spike last week. Yeah. The only reason we have a spike, because we're not advertising this anywhere outside of print, is because people are going because they're seeing it in the magazine. So yeah, ads work, folks. Ads work. I know. Newsflash. Ads work. Advertising works.
It's a shocker. It's a shocker to me. Listen, it doesn't make it. I mean, we should not spend the entire hour talking about how ads work, but yeah, as Gabe said, you're about to run out of time to get into issue 3. If you wanted to make sure that you let people know that you are the biggest Turtles fan on the planet, now would be the good time to do that. All right.
Jeremy says that I'm very quiet, so I'm adjusting my volume. So tell me if I start overwhelming.
Now you're a little hot. You're a little hot.
A little hot. Tell me when I'm at the
better
right level.
Right there. Oh, now go back up over half a.
There you go.
This is broadcasting, folks. Right. This is some pro shit going on here.
Normally I would be on my. Yeah, there we go.
All right, cool.
All right, let's talk headlines. I'm gonna clap my hands.
Okay, good.
Let's go. Whatnot is in trouble apparently. Possibly.
You
know what? Why don't we bring Blake in to tell us the Whatnot story?
Yeah, let's do that. That's great.
He loves this story.
Oh,
let's go.
Hi. So yeah, I am hold on, my throat's all sorry.
Let's pull Blake out for a second and let him.
Anyway, so Whatnot is it's obviously not a casino, but they're being compared to a unregulated casino, and they're being accused of like some like shady like insider trading stuff. Like like, you know, Kickstarter has like super backers and you get like little tags on your name. So there are like super buyers and super, like, I don't know what the technical titles are, but they have those titles on Whatnot to let some users maybe get privileges or get to post more or whatever. And so they're starting, people are being accused of like letting these like prestige buyers like know when to tune in to a stream and like what to buy, what to bid on. People are being accused of like false bidding. And it's happening a lot with cards, right? But there are a whole lot of people and some friends of the show who stream on Whatnot, who make livings on streaming on Whatnot. The community's kind of worried about it because so Whatnot immediately changed their terms of service. Okay. So there's something enough there to make Whatnot do something right away.
So from what I understand from reading the news story, and I'm not super versed on this stuff because I am not a huge like TCG person, but what I understand it is like these streams have shows called breaks where they actually are opening up the packs and showing what's in it. And I think the problem is that people will buy the pack before the break, right? So Adam is going to buy this pack for $20. I'm going to open it up and boom, boom, boom. Oh, it turns out you got nothing, right? And then Blake buys this pack for $18, and there's a rare Charizard. I don't even know if that's a dude, but that's what I understand the problem is, and that's where the gambling comes in. Is that the case?
Yeah, it's not technically gambling, but because there's an element of chance and there's money exchanging hands, they're throwing it all into the same ring now. So yeah, they've already changed their terms of service once. There's lawyers involved now. Nothing's happening. Like the platform's still going. I imagine transactions are being watched closely. I don't really know, what that means for sellers and stuff. But yeah, the comic community is worried about it because like, I don't know if you guys have heard of this thing. We've talked about it a few times on the show, but like blind bags are everywhere still. Yeah. Same thing is going on these shows, right? You pre-buy a group of 5 blind bags, 5 copies or whatever, and they rip them on the show. It's good content. People watch, they get excited, and they make a little show of it. And so yeah, they're worried about comics being lumped into this too, and it kind of makes sense, right? Because it's the same deal. You're pre-buying, you're purchasing a chance to get something more than what you pay for, right? So for sure. Yeah, I think things are going to change over there on Whatnot. And if it happens at Whatnot, what's that mean for eBay Live? eBay Live wasn't mentioned at all in this article, but like very similar things are happening on eBay Live. It's kind of it's a standard live selling feature now. This like pre-buying sealed items. So
fascinating. It is. I actually have a buddy who was really into these box break shows. Got a box, won the box, right? And then so they were breaking the whole box, and inside of it was this like $17,000 card. So it was an incredible, it is. He's basically just hit double zeros on roulette, so it completely makes sense. But God, what a weird. Yeah, I get it. I guess it may. This is where we live. All right. Well, let's keep watching this, because this will change how comics retailers use whatnot, and use, as you mentioned, eBay Live and live selling. We're on the Experience now. The Experience does live selling as well. So we'll keep an eye on this, because this will shift that entire marketplace.
Yeah, and we've been talking about it ourselves. Something we've been interested in, thinking about.
Sure.
Doing on our own. So yeah, I imagine we'll be talking about this more on the show, but definitely interesting. Encourage everybody to keep an eye on it, especially if you're into those blind bags. I guess my thoughts are with you.
Thoughts are first.
My thoughts are with you. Blake's thoughts are with you, everybody. All right.
The next story at least will be a real upper. So let's get some good. Oh man. First of all, it's not a war. It's just an incursion. So Fantagraphics Books had a cargo vessel carrying full print runs of 2 upcoming Fantagraphic titles, which was struck and damaged by Iranian missiles in or near the Strait of Hormuz. So the 2 books in question are Atlas Comics Library Number 9, Adventures into World Worlds, Volume 1, which collects Russ Heath, Bernard Craigston, Bill Everett, Joe Manley, Carmen Infantino, and others, and then Bitchy the Exasperating Science of Midge McCracken by Roberta Gregory and Helen Chazin. They're both scheduled to be released in early June, but that time frame now seems unlikely.
It seems very unlikely. Yeah.
Fantagraphics co-founder Mike Catron over the weekend. So yeah, I know they're still trying to assess, because they don't know exactly what damage happened and what was lost. So they're still doing some assessments to find out. But at the very least, like, that ship is going to have to be unloaded and reloaded, which is a process in and of itself. And, in the middle of an active war zone. Oh, sorry, an active incursion area.
An active incursion area. Yeah. Let's be very, very clear, because, the last thing people want from a comic book industry commentary show is to not be specific about world politics.
Active incursion. Yeah. Bobby Duvall loves the smell of comics in the morning because they smell like freedom.
Just release the goddamn files. All right, whatever.
How about Sunday night? K-pop Demon Hunters, double Oscar winner. Like, how cool is that?
It's cool.
It's
I'm just really surprised to see it in our rundown.
Yeah, and not like, I know you are. We're not talking like, technical awards. This is best animated film and best original song. In a year you had some pretty big competition for both. I just thought this is so cool because, one of the ongoing comments we've had is that pop culture is no longer pop, it's culture, right?
That's very true.
And this is an absolute example of that, where like the game is changing. The world is not the one that we grew up in, where you had to be embarrassed when I'm going to watch Robotech this weekend. I got 7 episodes. I'm going to try and binge through. And now it's like,
or even worse, you would buy those Robotech episodes like from a guy in a trench coat.
Yes,
like it was.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, that we used to sell them at the comic store I worked at. And those tapes went for like $70-$80 each when you would get them from, I can't remember the name of the company back then, but it was like before Harmony Gold, there was a company that would sell those things. So yeah, and it was like so underground and hard to find. And now, culture. Like
culture.
1.5 billion people saw K-pop Demon Hunters win the 2 major awards. Oh, that was pretty cool.
That's impressive. It is impressive, and it does go to the effect that I think Korean comics, or what are we calling Korean comics? I guess would they be called manga? I'm not
Is
sure.
It manhwa? I think
manhwa. There we go.
Is Korean.
Yeah, I think that I think it shows that is going to become one of our cultural voices. Yeah. And they will never know. They will never know what it's like to have a third dub VHS copy. So
yeah, and dubbing things for your friends so that you could afford that $80 fee that you paid for that tape, because you're all going to pay $10. Yeah. Did you see? Yeah, absolutely. The animated short films were also spectacular, but they always are. They always are. Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, I've not watched the Oscars in many years. It's never.
Oh, really? It's kind of our annual tradition. Although I will admit, this year we all had other devices that were going on. Like my wife and I usually do the Oscars pool, and and whoever loses has to make dinner for the other one the next week. But we haven't done that in a couple of years.
Yeah,
I think because we're always making dinner.
I don't know whose screen we're looking at, but I'm enjoying whoever it is going. Are we done yet? Oh no, we're not.
I think that's Blake. Yeah, Blake,
okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You
What's
go
next?
To the next one. All right.
Oh,
Comics the Magazine, the news story, dude. This thing was the news story all last week everywhere, and it was so awesome to read. Just like it really did hit on all cylinders, and I think we should bring in Joe.
Let's bring in Joe. Joe, what up, my buddy?
Hey,
what up?
I actually have something to say about this K-pop Demon Hunters thing. You guys might not be aware. Yeah, there's a connection to the larger, I guess, I don't know, Prana Keating family here. The layout artist for K-pop Demon Hunters is Nick Barber, who drew Ringside, a book that we worked on together. Nice. So I want to congratulate Nick. Good job, buddy. I guess you got an Oscar now, so well done, sir.
Congratulations, Oscar award winner.
Yeah. Comics the Magazine. That was the craziest week of my professional career, and I have been doing this for 20-something years. Yeah. But boy, oh boy. Well, last week was a wild one, folks. Yeah, all in a good way.
Yeah.
But
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. It's maybe more empathetic to people who don't get back to you in emails right away, because it was just like, emailing from a fire hose. So anyway.
It really was. It was email that my inbox. Oh boy. RIP. My inbox is a little bit nutty. Obviously, all the DMs were incredible. Thank you to everybody who shouted out last week. I mean, it was incredible. It was, as Joe said. I mean, I've got another decade on him, and it was the most remarkable thing that's happened to me in my career. Yeah. I've never seen anything so universally loved.
Yeah.
Although we were talking this morning, somebody mentioned it and said, "Well, what about?" No, and I said, "Oh yeah, I can tell you all 8 people who didn't like it, and exactly why they didn't like it. I can tell you all of them. Yes, were there like basically tens of thousands of people who seemed to like it? Yeah, but what about these 8? Yeah, so yeah, if you were one of those 8, well, believe me, I heard, I know.
Yeah."
And you know what? Good for them. But yeah, I don't know. It was just really cool. There was a lot of I'll tell you, people contacting me directly being like, "Oh, you guys are actually having fun with comics with this?"
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was nice. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's been a labor of love for us and Rico Renzi. It's nice to see him get so much attention. I mean,
all the flowers for Rico Renzi. That man is just a genius, and
he's amazing.
We're seeing it, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I love the fact that like so many of these books that are in this right now are like last week and this week's books. It's so great. So
yeah, you want to know how I figured that out? I looked at what was coming up and I said, "What looks cool?"
Weird, and that worked, eh? All right, well,
that's my crazy editorial strategy for this magazine is what actually looks cool and interesting, and we could have fun talking about. And people were like, "Oh, okay, let's go."
I got to say too that I got more like feedback about these 2 pages.
I loved it.
I know it was like so many people were. Too bad.
I don't want to reveal too much behind the curtain, but it went pretty much exactly like I was hoping. All the right people were angry about it. All right people were stoked about it. It was awesome. So thank you everyone for participating in the Pullbox Power Rankings.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Go only thing that drove me nuts, people were like, how'd they figure this out? If you go to the bottom of the page, there's a whole thing that says
right?
the data from this blah, blah.
Actually says.
So there you go.
Read it. I told you.
Yeah.
This is not us. We didn't make this up. As opposed to a magazine that people keep comparing us to. This was not editorially, put together. This was data. This was sheer data.
I actually had a reporter ask me that. I won't divulge who. And I said, dude, this is data. And I showed him the data and he was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, I have qualms with some of how you're categorizing some of these people, but I get it. It's like, well, we'll figure that out in the future, but
I do have an ask. If you're a retailer, can you give Blake, you pop me up on that screen real quick? If you're a retailer and you have Comics and Magazine in your store and any of your consumers, your fans, if they bring this up to your counter and say, I want this or I want that, let us know. I really want to hear, is this working? Because that's the goal at the end of the day is for this magazine to be selling more comics, to excite people in comic shops, to make sure that they are buying more comics from comic shops. I think that's really at the end of the day. If I had a personal goal, it would be that. So yeah, there you go. We still have Joe. Yeah.
Something I wanted to mention real quick, and then I'll pop back off. But we got tons of comments, right? And people sharing and stuff on Instagram and Facebook and everything. So many people were like, oh, the comic magazine talks about comics. Awesome. And I was like, what else would it have done? I was very confused. And then someone even said the ads are even about comics. And so it was just like, there was a lot of shock, awe, and they expected to read about sports. I don't really know. But a lot of people were surprised that we just stayed true to our title and talked comics and celebrated comics. So,
what's really interesting about that is
sports too.
Oh yeah, we did have some. We had MMA in there. It's interesting, Blake. Now that you mention it, there was a lot of conversation about Wizard and about how Wizard was the parts of Wizard that we liked and the parts that we didn't like. And I think one of the things that I'm realizing now as you're talking about it, and it really kind of dovetails into that story that I had no idea why Brian dropped it into the rundown. It is if we chose to use this magazine to talk about K-pop demon hunters, we would never stop, right? Wizard could talk about when Buffy the Vampire Slayer was coming back to comics, right? Or they could do casting calls of what actors would play good comic characters. But the truth is we're seeing that in real time. That is our reality now. So that kind of speculation doesn't even really have a place anymore.
Yeah.
Right now, we get to just love what we love, And
also, there are great magazines for that, like Empire or SFX or whatever, or or if horror, you know what I mean? This is the comics magazine,
Oh my God. Look at that. Thank you for throwing that up.
Look at that. Look at that.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's exactly
it right there.
That's cool.
Let's go. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we never make a dime off of this. I'm glad that happened. That's
what I've said at my shop too. If you buy your pulls this month, you get it for free. If you don't, you'll get number 2. You won't get number 1.
You want to get number 1. You can buy number 1, but exactly. You're not getting this one for free. Exactly. That's incredible. That's wonderful. Thank you, Ray. What shop are you at, Ray? Let us know in the comments. I really want to know. Yeah, Tommy, I will tell you, I would say I had so many people in my mentions who were giving it away or giving away with purchase or giving away, there was that incredible, if we need to download the video of Cape and Cowl that did the Making It Rain comics, the magazine. Cool. Oh, yeah. I loved that so much. Yeah. Anyway, Cosmics in Montreal, Quebec. There you go.
Right on.
Thank you so much, Ray.
That's Ray. That's awesome. This weekend at Toronto Comic Con, I'll be giving away if people buy $20 at my booth because I got to pay the bills. But I'm going to give, I'm bringing a couple hundred with me. Hope
awesome.
To sell it. Yeah.
Right on. All right. I think we're going to go back to talking about this in a minute because, it's weird to be the people reporting on the news and the people making the news too. But we're going to get to that here in a little bit. So let's bring you back, Joe, when that time comes. It's
awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, I pushed the button. I don't know why. Somebody else felt like
I just pushed that button. Ha ha ha. All right. So our feature story this week, C2E2 coming up in 2 weeks. Not this week, but the week following. So a week from this Thursday, C2E2. Prana is going to have a big presence there. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it. What you doing?
First, I'd like to say to Carl Choi, who's trying to call me, I know you watch this show occasionally. You would know not to call me during the show.
Carl, don't call between 2 and 3 p.m. Tight 60. We got a tight 60.
We got a tight 60 to get through, my friends. We've only got, 32 more minutes to fill. Okay. We are going to C2E2, which is in Chicago next weekend. So not this weekend, obviously. This weekend, people are at other conventions. Every month and every week in March is just a nutty convention somewhere.
My goodness, it's MegaCon and Toronto Comic Con this weekend. And MegaCon is huge.
You know what? Let's while I look up the details of what we're going to be announcing, let's bring Gabe back. And I want to hear, Gabe, when you told people, so our friend Gabe, Gabe Yoakum here, not only is he selling ads for us and classified ads, and, we work together on a lot of different projects. Gabe, you were the head of sales for, let me see if I get this right, for Reed Pop, both for New York Comic Con and C2E2. Is that right?
Yeah, New York Comic Con, C2E2, Emerald City Comic Con, Florida SuperCon, MCM London, MCM Birmingham, Star Wars Celebration, the Magic Con shows, and the Star Trek show, when we had a Star Trek show as well. Yeah, I had a couple of shows, but where I started at Repop was running sales for C2E2, and it was I up until the year before last, I had been to every single C2E2 because it was my show. I lived in Chicago and I loved it, and it is my favorite comic convention in the country by a million miles.
Yeah, it is. Why I agree. I do it every year. I don't think I have missed a year in, I don't know, a couple decades, at least since I think Valiant started in 2011. I think that's where we launched Valiant.
I think that would have been 13, because I think 13 was the first one.
Really?
No, you're right. 11 was the first one. Yep.
Yeah, I think it was 11.
Yep.
So tell me why this show is special. Not just because it is Chicago, which I think we can all agree is a fun town no matter what you're doing, but why is this particular show special?
Well, the location's big, right? The location is, unlike a lot of conventions, this is smack dab in the middle of downtown, right? It's which is really nice from a tourism perspective. After the show, you want to go get some food that's really cool or whatever. That's really nice. But beyond that, it's the way that the show feels. And I somewhat hesitate to say this out loud, but that is down to the crew that Reed Pop brought in 2017. Myself, Chris DeLando, who's now the showrunner for all the comic shows on that portfolio, focusing on making C2E2 not New York Comic Con's little brother, but Chicago's show, not just a show in Chicago, right? And so focusing on the fans that are in Chicago and what those fans want, and giving the show a personality that is worthy of a city as great as Chicago. And that means comics, horror, wrestling, and whatever else it is that the fans want in any given day or time. Chicagoans have big chips on their shoulder about not being New York or LA. And when you bring them the cool stuff that New York and LA get, they reward you in kind, because they know how great the city is, and they did it for us. They rewarded us with, we went from an attendance at C2E2 of around 55,000 in 2016 to the 2018 and 2019 shows being around 85, and then the show a week and a half before we were all working from home in 2020 did 95,000 people, and finally now post-pandemic they've gotten back to around 100,000 people at that event, and it's all because they focused so heavily on doing things right for the city of Chicago. My favorite stat, and one that I think is particularly of interest to Prana and us and what we do, is that there are more librarians that go to C2E2 than go to New York Comic Con.
Wow.
Yeah.
That stat has always blown me away. And look, ALA has huge roots in the city of Chicago. They always return home. They go and they do shows in other cities occasionally, but they always come back to Chicago because of the huge librarian population base there. And if you know and love a librarian, you understand what that means for a collective like this. They are the most enthusiastic and energetic about literature in every form that you can possibly have on your side.
I'm going to give the few people in our audience. This is not a big week for us on this show, and that's just fine with Brian and me because we are doing a tight 60. But I'm going to give you guys who are watching a little preview. Gabe just mentioned all of the librarian programming that's happening at C2E2 this year. We're going to talk about some programs we're doing, but in the new month, next month in April, our plan is to begin building content for librarians, for publishers, for the retailers who are participating with librarians. That library ecosystem of graphic novels is something that we're going to be able to begin focusing on as of next month. And I'm crazy excited about it. More details to come. Gabe, I agree with all of that. And I can tell you one of my favorite things about C2E2 is that they have really leaned into, Repop in general has really leaned into what we're doing here at Prana. And actually involved us in last year's C2E2, in last year's New York Comic Con, and in this year's C2E2, and we'll continue to grow with that. This year we've got 2 panels. Brian, I see you pulling some up. Do you have them, or?
I'm just trying to find them.
That's all right. I can voice them as you look.
One of them is the past, present, and future.
That's right. Yeah, Friday, March 27th at 12:15 p.m. in room S402A. The Past, Present, and Future of Comics Distribution by Prana DMS. Distribution is a key piece in the comic book life cycle and vital to the process since the beginning of the comic book industry. In an ever-changing market, distribution must also evolve. Professionals on the panel will examine the inception to the current status of that process and key insights into the future of comics distribution. It's still a bit of a secret who we're going to have on our panel, which means I haven't really gotten confirmations from the people I've asked yet. But we are going to have we had a really stellar crew last year, and I can't imagine we're going to have anything less. We have a really strong. This presentation has been growing each year. That last year was really exciting because nobody knew what was going on with distribution. So this year things are a little more settled, and I think we can talk about it. But I'm also really excited to talk about the other ways that be distributed. I've recently talked to somebody who said that there's something like 23 paths of distribution to the public for comics content now. And I think that we keep talking about distribution as this pipeline from publishers to retailers, but I think it's gotten to be so big and so varied that it's really a fascinating place right now. So I'm looking forward to jumping into this one.
Yeah. There's other retailer stuff going on Thursday too, right? Like Friday. Sorry, Friday is kind of the retailer day as well.
Yeah.
Friday historically, from a programming perspective, is professional day, right? So programming leans heavily toward librarians, teachers, comic shop owners and retailers, publishers, etc., and so on. I know something we started when I was still there, Source Books, which is headquartered in Chicago, and they're a publisher. They do all sorts of things, but they do book club sort of meetings where fans can sign up to get pre-launch copies of a book and then come and discuss it with other people that have got copies of the book and things like that. It's a very focused sort of energy day on Friday for professionals.
Yeah, it's part of that. I think we did a bunch of programs last year. This year, we're only going to be doing the 2. The second one is, let me pull that up so I can read you the content here. The Indie Survival Guide, Avoiding Disaster as an Independent Publisher. This is on Friday also at 5 p.m. Same room. I probably won't leave. We'll see. Indie Comics Publishing is a landmine of questions and traps for anyone entering for the first time, and even for veterans of our industry. Our panel of seasoned comics professionals will give you a roadmap for avoiding mistakes in production, distribution, and sales in an ever-changing comics landscape. Learn how the professionals navigate production, planning, distribution options, realistic sales expectations, and common financial pitfalls, while also exploring how audience and community building can make or break a release with long-term growth over short-term hype. And that's exactly the kind of work we've been doing here on the shows and on the podcasts. And I'm looking forward to like really refining that down for this event. Jamie, that's a great question. I'm telling you right now, we're going to be bringing our baby boy Blake along. And if it doesn't get recorded and rebroadcast, you know who to blame. His name is Baby Boy Blake, and he has a hot dog hat. So there you go. Excellent. Now, yes. So did we not get this party slide ready? Oh, whatever. We're doing a party at the Goblin Market, which is a nearby comic shop. We've done this every year. Damn it. We're doing it next week. We're pulling out the picture of Brian changing clothes with Ari.
Fine.
It's happening.
Fine. We are fine.
That is happening. In fact, we might try and show that before the end of this show. We have 21 minutes in which to do that.
Tight 20 left, guys. Tight. This show's real tight. 15 actually, because we got a 5-minute promo. Okay, moving on. What time is this going to be on Friday?
I believe we're going to be doing this at 8:00.
Cool.
I haven't actually. That's what I proposed to them. Let's see if they DM'd me back. No, we don't know yet.
I can definitely say 4/27. By the way, this is not in May. I just want to let everybody know that's the case.
Yeah.
If you're reading it, it's next month. Not. It's actually 3/27. It's in 10 days.
10 days at the Goblin Market. Yeah.
Sorry, Blake.
We're looking at you. Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, there you go.
Goblin Market is in the coolest neighborhood in Chicago. It's in Lincoln Square. And Lincoln Square is so incredibly walkable, and there's a bunch of really cool stuff in Lincoln Square. So if you get there early, you can bounce around. There's a couple of great taverns, really cool little stores and things like that. So it's very well worth the trip up there, even if it's just to walk around and pop in and say hello.
Yeah. Awesome. Stick around in the show. Later, we're going to be showing pictures of Brian at that party that we have every year. Nope. It's going to be a good one.
We good.
Right. Awesome. Let's. I can't wait to see you guys in Chicago. I love the show, and I'm looking forward to seeing all your faces and nerding out about comic stuff.
Yeah, Chicago is literally my favorite American city, and I'm sorry to all the other American cities, but and it's 6.5 hours away from my house, so it's a very easy drive, and it's actually a really nice drive too. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. How many recharging stations do you have to stop at on your way there?
2. And like 20 minutes each. I have a 800-volt powertrain, so it's 15 minutes to charge her up.
Okay, that's great.
And you guys actually have decent infrastructure, unlike much of Canada.
All right, Gabe. Thank you, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. All right. What? Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we got 14 minutes to get through this, bud. We got to go. Can I
talk to you about? Can I tell you a moment? I had a moment this morning. It's been a rough day. I'm not gonna lie. I'm having a bit of a physical issue. I'm having a lot going on. We saw some news on here that was surprising to me. I wasn't expecting it, and it really kind of drove home how important this project has been. I've been working on this bestseller list. There's a man named Anthony Militano. Someday we're going to have him on the show. He and I worked on, how do we gather this data? Who can we get this data from? Once we have it, how do we piece it out? What can we learn? We've been working on this, like I said, for 8 years almost. And it's just really in the last year with Brian and Django really started to come together and become a real asset, I think, for the industry. So to see this week's was a nice boost on an otherwise difficult day. So let's dig into what we can learn here this week from what's selling in comic shops. 60,000 consumers. It's actually 80,000 consumers, over 600 stores actually now. We are working with both Managed Comics, the Managed Comic system, which is not a POS. It is, however, something that sits on top of POS systems, and Comic Shop Assistant. We've bring all that data together. We anonymize it so that you can't tell which came from what store, but there's so many stores that it's a decent cohort, and we can really report on this as though it's real stuff. I cannot wait to see this next slide.
I love the fact that just changed in real time.
Oh, look at that. Oh, I didn't even notice. Good job, buddy. Good job.
Okay.
All
right. Wait.
That's weird.
So DC had a big week as kind of predicted.
They've been doing that a lot lately.
Yeah, Marvel and DC have been kind of flipping back and forth. Image 16.29% on the back of I think Dork #2 and Tigress Island was a big one last week. IDW, Dynamite, Prana Publishers. What are they doing up there? That's weird. Adam, what's going on? Are you manipulating the numbers? What's going on here?
That's just it. I'm manipulating the numbers. I'm
I
couldn't live with having this as somebody else's stuff. So 2.58% Prana Publishers.
Can we just dive into that a little bit? Can you tell me what exactly that was responsible for that?
Well, I think it had to be something called Comics the Magazine. Let's bring Joe back. Let's bring Joe
in.
Let's if there's anybody who deserves a victory lap on this one, it's Joe Keating.
Team effort, Enrico Renzi. But yes, this is wild, dude.
For real.
So
what number
did it place?
Number 4 bestseller on the bestsellers list. Is it technically?
Let's be clear about that. So there was 3 comics in the top 400, right? 400 comics.
400. That is correct.
Out of 400 comics, there's 3 comics, and then the 4th one is not a comic.
It's a magazine.
Comics the Magazine.
Yeah. Those 4 comics, for those who are interested, Absolute Batman, not surprising, and they were kind of vocal about it being 300,000 copies this week. So I think we can actually start setting proportionally. We might even do that. We might toy with that. Maybe a beta version of estimated sales. Absolute Batman number 18, number 1. X-Men United number 1 at number 2 with 27 average sold per store. Transformers number 30 had 18.5 average copies sold per store reporting. And Comics the Magazine in at number 4 with 17.8 copies per store reporting. Yeah. Here's the thing. I was expecting to not be on this list, really, not because it's a magazine, because we don't really have a spot for magazines right now. Like they don't really work through the distribution channels properly. If you put the metadata in, it doesn't really work. So it ends up so as a result of that, yes, we are a magazine fighting it out with comics, but we're a magazine called Comics. So, all right, get over yourself.
And there's comics in it.
There's comics in it. That's true.
By Michael Sweater and the team reuniting for Chew. By the way, I will say one criticism people said was a little inside baseball upcoming issues. They were like, "Oh, the Chew thing is just a hostess ad." Folks, it was minor spoiler. In Comics the Magazine number 2 pulls out, and that is in the hand of Tony Chew, the star of Chew. He's investigating a new mystery. So if you're wondering what's coming up, be sure to grab Comics the Magazine number 2. Find out more. It's an ongoing narrative.
If you can.
If you can. That's true.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you that one of the interesting things that I see from behind the numbers is that there's a ton of room to grow because subscriptions are not indicative of the sales numbers at all. Like people hadn't subscribed to it, but I think we're seeing between pre-release and already, like, I've seen the subscription numbers spike. So I think we're going to see a much steady and healthy kind of growth trajectory, which I'm super excited about.
And I was the reason I didn't think we were going to make this list is because, like Brian, so many stores were giving away copies that I was afraid they just weren't. They weren't going to register, so they weren't going to be in the sales numbers that we're getting. So the fact that enough were actually to come in at number 6, I think says a lot about the numbers themselves. It says a lot about what it's going to take to be in there in that conversation as publishers. I think there's a whole lot to learn from our experience here, and we're going to do our best to bring it to you every week. So this is really
Brian Fudge of Cosmic Comics in Las Vegas, 254 copies. Tommy from Mulligan's, 300 plus copies. Like, honestly, it's amazing.
Megan said the same thing, Adam. We were talking when we were working on the bullet last week. I was like, oh shit, Megan, like, are we going to be on our own bestseller list next week? And she was like, no. She's like, I don't think so because of the pre-orders and the giving away and the bundles.
Yeah.
And so like, we estimated like there wouldn't be a lot of like foot traffic sales, and that was wrong, right? Like that's even with the giveaways, even with the pre-orders, there was still like a lot of people walking into shops, like asking for this, picking it up. We got a lot of comments asking where to get it if their shop didn't have it or was sold out, and we were pointing them to online retailers and stuff, So yeah, it was like I said, I was like, whoa, this would be crazy. And then Megan crushed my dreams and hopes and was like, that'll never, no. So today was like crazy. So, all right. Anyway, have fun with the show.
I'll tell you that I've run through about absolute numbers at my cash register. Now we do discount it if you buy other stuff, but still I run it through. So
yeah, I think a lot of people do
decent numbers, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if we looked at, these are all unit share. If we looked at dollar share, it's going to be a completely different story. So we'll get into that in the Prana Bullet this week. So you'll be seeing a lot more of that data.
Still,
but yeah, man.
Exciting.
What is this? Let's look at the rest of this list really quickly, so we're not just talking about ourselves for real quick. Our friends at Dark Horse coming in at number 7. Sorry, Dark Horse. X Posse Holdings. Look at that, Mark Spears. You're doing
Spears Monsters number 9 was hitting the numbers.
Boom Entertainment. I didn't even notice Bad Idea on the top 10, and they're coming in at number 10.
Hey, Bad Idea with Ordained, and this week on the FOC was I can't remember the name. It's like Ordained is doing really, really well.
It's a cool looking book.
Yeah, it is such a good book. That I actually worked on that book before I left there. And I know that in the back of Ordained is a preview for the Hab.
The Hab, that's what was on FOC. Yeah, it did really, really well on FOC this week.
If there's one title that I'm excited about coming out of Bad Idea, the Hab is it. It is an incredible piece of work. It is, I mean, it's literature. So that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to that title. So good job, buddies at Bad Idea. Look at us. We're both on the top 10 list in the same week. I'm so proud of us. Look at all that. All right. I wish Oni had made that list all the same. It would have been a full old home week. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Let's go. Joe, thank you for coming back on.
Yeah, sure. Thanks everybody. Appreciate you supporting this magazine. So
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. What's next? Do we have anything else before we get into?
I don't even know. I don't have control of the slide deck. That's all Blake.
No, it's like
a good question.
It's like roulette. Like I have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, Blake, what's next?
Bring us a slide deck. We don't know what we're talking about anymore. It is the final cut. Well, let's go to the final cut, and that'll give us 4 minutes to take this baby home. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right.
Shoot it.
Seemingly every week at Prana Publishers, we work with a ton of new publishers, smaller publishers that really deserve your attention. This week is no exception. We're bringing you for your final order consideration a really lovely, fun book called Bug Bites from our friends at Source Point. And as always, we've got Mr. Keith Davidsen talking to the people behind the scenes of this to tell you why you should be ordering up. As a consumer, you should be pre-ordering. As a retailer, you should be placing your final orders. Take it away, Keith.
Welcome to the Final Cut, where we take a quick look at upcoming final order cutoff. I'm your host, Keith Davidsen, Prada's direct market specialist, and I'm joined this week by Corinne Roberts, the writer and artist of the original graphic novel Bug Bites. Corinne, welcome.
Hello.
So let's lay the foundation for our audience. What is Bug Bites all about?
All right, so Bug Bites is about a small, quiet town where several children have gone missing. And Jolene, who is new to the area, she makes a new friend, Peter, but then he disappears as well. And from the stories of her grandmother and finding her grandmother's cookbook, she has an idea of the creatures that are right beneath her feet and the world that might be the culprits for it.
Now, this is a very delightful, whimsical premise involving a cookbook and insects. Can you share with us what inspired you to tell this story?
So I love fairy tales. I love adventure, fantasy, fairy tales, and food. So it's real basic. I'm thinking about food all the time. I'm one of those people gets up and I'm already thinking about dinner. That is definitely me. So a mix of that with some of my favorite fantasy adventure movies, that was the biggest inspiration for Bug Bites.
So now, without giving too much away, what would you say would be the lesson that readers should be taking away from this book?
I really wanted to show the reader that if the world is very strange and very different and even a little scary, think about your greatest skills, play on those, and then play to win. Like win the day. That's what you want to do, especially if the world is completely strange and foreign to you.
Now, are there other comic titles in the marketplace or perhaps TV shows and movies that you feel have a similar feel to Bug Bites?
So, I mean, I'm an 80s child, so I often say that Bug Bites definitely has a Halloweenish vibe, along with sort of Tim Burton-esque, you know, those pocketed fantasy worlds where it's like it's a whole world that you had no idea of. And those were my favorite growing up. And like I said, fairy tales. Mixed with a little bit of British Bake Off, like Great British Bake Off or any of your Food Network. So if you were to mix those all together, you would get Bug Bites. That's what you'd get.
Now let's talk about the audience for Bug Bites. Who do you think will love to read about the adventures of Jo and her friends?
So Bug Bites is best for readers 8 and older. I often say if they love like Halloweenish vibes, you know, this girl is going into a different realm, Halloweenish vibes, especially if they love adventure and fantasy, this is a really good book for them. I often have had a lot of parents also tell me that this is a really good book for children who are a little hesitant readers. You know, if you're a parent and you're having a difficult time getting your children to read, Bug Bites is a single book. It's self-contained. You are not going to be getting into a big, long series or a saga. The kids that have really enjoyed this, I've had a lot of them like, that book was so weird, but I loved it because they can get in and then they get out. Another thing is if you're a kid and an adult, it is for all ages, but like I said, best for ages 8 and older. If you like a little bit of the behind the scenes, in the Bug Bite Special Edition, which is what's going to be out, we included extra how-to pages. So for example, this entire book was done in watercolor and pen. That's the only thing that I work with. So creating the pages, we showed a little bit of my process. I put in extra pages how to draw some of the characters, so you learn character development. Even some of the sketches for my pages, so you really get a behind the scenes. And for me as a kid, I always loved seeing that so that I could then figure out how to do my own stories.
Are there any last words you'd like to share with retailers about Bug Bites?
This book is done in all traditional media. I mean, of course, I had to scan in, and then you have to, you know, make sure that you're using Photoshop to do the pages. But I really love, you know, hearing back from children. They're like, oh, the texture, how did you create this? Or step by step. And I hope that they enjoy it just as much as I had fun creating this book. It's a really fun adventure.
Corinne, it's a beautiful book. I love the look of it. And really thank you for joining us today on The Final Cut and sharing a little bit about it with the world.
Thank you so much. Yes, and thank you for having me.
And to our viewers, one last reminder that Bug Bites, published by SourcePoint Press, will be hitting stores in April. Retailers, look for it in the Prana Publishers section of your catalog and on FOC this coming Monday. Take care.
She is fantastic. Every time I see her at a show, I'm happy, and I love that she's got a book coming out from SourcePoint. This is gonna be so good. Bug Bites, as Keith mentioned, feel free to you take down these details for ordering at your favorite distributor. Your last chance to order. Why does it say yesterday? Does anybody know? Did we miss the FOC on this? Are we embarrassing ourselves right now? Please tell us.
We call them last calls.
All right, this one. All right, we'll see about this. Hey, Dirk, if you're in the comments and we missed this, love you, buddy. I'm looking forward to this one.
No, March 23rd, 2026.
Oh, okay. So it's all right.
That's
a Blake thing. Thanks, Blake. Appreciate you, bub.
I can share this, and I popped this up from everybody's favorite website, comicpreviews.com.
Oh, look at that.
Where it has the FOC date of March 23rd, 2026. We're all good. We're all good.
Thank you.
Get your orders in this week.
There you go. All right, excellent. See, there was a moment there you thought you weren't going to be able to. Now you can. All right, let's get through these CTAs. We got 2 minutes. Let's go.
That's right.
Prana Bullet.
Oh,
if you loved bestseller lists, if you like hearing more about what's going on in the comic book industry, if you just want to see whether or not I'm going to embarrass myself by writing freeform poetry at the top, please do subscribe to the Prana Bullet. Go right now to pranadm.com, sign up for the very next one, and we'll get it to you this Friday, usually around noonish EST. Don't you scan the QR code too? That's always fun. All right.
There you go. All right. If you want to see me live in Toronto this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh, no, I won't be there Thursday. I'll be setting up Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, come to booth 1804 in the North Building of the Toronto Convention Center. You'll see Earth 519 and Managed Comics in action. You'll get the comic preview zine, and if you spend $20, you're going to get yourself a copy of Comics the Magazine. I know the guy that runs the place. He may just give you a copy for free if you're real nice.
We'll see how.
So come see us there, and then the following week, Blake hit the button. Blake hit the button. Blake. Oh, we're out of time, buddy. The following week, live in Chicago, March 27th to 28th. I'll be on the show floor. I'll be visiting some shops. I'll be tagging along with Adam, so come see me. And then, last but not least.
Oh, yes. Why don't you put on your polls Comics the Magazine? Scan this right now. You can sign up for the newsletter that we are doing for fans of the magazine. We're actually using it to do alerts and that sort of stuff. We're going to ask you soon, what demographics you are in. So it's good if you please do ahead and subscribe. This glorious cover we talked about earlier is Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Rico Renzi on Comics the Magazine #3. You need to check it out. It'll be the first week of each month. Go put it on. So subscribe right now. Awesome.
You guys will see the solicitations live on comicsthemagazine.com, as soon as we're done this, so that I can actually go finish uploading it.
Look at that. We did a tight 61 minutes, my friend.
Tight 61. We did it. Got in, got out. Nobody got hurt. Thanks to everybody who watched. Why don't you
You know who else I want to thank, Brian?
Who's that?
I want to thank all the people who went to their comic shop and picked up all of their subscriptions this week so they could get Comics the Magazine, whether they got it for free or not. I want to thank all of the advertisers. I'm just choking. I'm not getting choked up. Though the chances of that happening are pretty good too. I want to thank all the advertisers who decided to invest their money in putting a magazine on the shelves. I want to thank all of you who sent us classified ads, both before we started charging for them and after. I want to thank Brian, who I can hear drinking. I want to thank everybody who's working in a comic shop right now, and you are, you're wondering, is this worth it? Like, I could be doing something else. That's where I started. I want to thank everybody who's running a comic shop and is doing their best to pay the bills, even though it's tough every week because the margins are what the margins are. And, thank you. And I want to thank everybody who has been at this for so long, is making comics so long, and you haven't figured out how to make any money at it, much less a living, but you keep going. Thank you. And to every single one of you who has trying to figure out new ways of getting distribution and new ways to get fans and new ways to keep people excited about comics. Man, every one of you, thank you. Because each one of you saved comics. Namaste, y'all.